Hi everybody. All right, so I've done a 30-day manicure. As you can see, a very thin application of our hard gel on top. So this is the customer that I removed the mystery from. So we are ready to go. I've just done her hard gel application. So I'm just going to do an ombre with this gorgeous color. Obviously, I love it. I'm wearing it also. It's from our gel play line. It's called Copper Dust. And I'm going to just do a quick blend of Copper Dust to one of our dark browns that's called Mystical. And Mystical has a little bit of a frost to it as well, and so both of them blend really nicely together. So this is going to be pretty fall kind of ombre. I tend to get it really close to the cuticle. If you touch the cuticle, obviously you want to wipe it out. This is the gel play, and the gel play is meant to be very, very pigmented. So you'll be able to apply this typically with one coat application, but don't make it too thick or you will have problems with it curing because it is very, very pigmented. So get it on there, but don't overdo it. If you want 2 coats, obviously you can, but 1 coat's good enough typically. All right, and this is a 30-second cure in a LED light or a go ahead on in, or a 2-minute cure in a UV light. So you can use it in either. If you're having problems with your gel play curing, you really need to check out your lamp. There are a couple of lamps that I know offhand, like the OPI lamp, that just does not cure very well. So I do know that the CND lamp cures great, so if that's the one you have, no problem. The LED, what?
The UV one doesn't cure accents.
Oh, CND. Yeah, no, new LED light cures pretty good. I went over to Tanya Sisson's booth when they launched that and took some gels with me and tested it out, and so it cures well, so go for it. There's no perfect blend to this. I just don't want to get the color all the way to the tip. The reason is because the more layers you put on the tip, the thicker your nails are going to look. So I'm not going to cover the entire nail when I'm going to go ahead with the brown and put it on the tip. I do the same thing with my French application. I remove the pink from the tip area because I don't want pink, pink, white, white, and then you end up with a very thick tip. So I do that when I do French. It's a different technique than most people have seen, so maybe I'll show you that sometime. Oh, I see fuzz on my brush. All right, going in. Okay, so after that's done, we're gonna do 2 quick coats of, this is Mystical from the Luxio line. It's a nice dark brown. The first coat is gonna look semi-sheer because it does have a pearl to it. So fuzz in there.
Does the INM lamp cure the gel play? It's an LED.
I am not sure about INM. I think you're probably going to have to test it. The best way to test a lamp is if you have Noir, which is our black, go ahead and put that on a tip and do a decent coat. You know, you don't have to make it super, super, super thin. You want to see if it's curing. So do a decent coat of Noir on a tip and cure it for the 30 seconds. And then just wipe it with a gel wipe. And if most of the black comes off on the gel wipe, it won't cure. But if the black pretty much stays on the tip and you maybe just have a little bit of transfer on the gel wipe, you're probably good to go. So that is a really good way to test gel lamps. And the same with hard gel. You can put a big ball of hard gel on a tip and cure it and then pop the ball off. Put it on a form or a tip. Form is a little bit better because you can pop it off and then you can feel the underside of it. So after I've applied my brown, I'm just going to take my brush, and I tend to hold it sideways so that I'm just using the hairs and just lightly blending it up. The tip that I have with dealing with fades is that you want to fade most of the nail. If you're just fading right in the middle, you're gonna look like you just have 2 lines. of color separated. You want to blend this almost all the way up, and that way you get a more graduated blend. Now the first coat obviously is not going to look as good as the second coat because it's a semi-sheer when it's just one coat. If you're dealing with two colors and one of them has a pearlescent to it and one of them doesn't, do the first coat or the first color with the color that does not have a pearlescent to it, because the one that does is going to be the one that's going to be easier to blend. Just like makeup, when you have something that has a frost, it's going to blend a lot easier than something that's a solid. So for people that are trying to do the baby boomer nails, if you have a white that has a little bit of a frost, you're going to get a much nicer blend, and you won't have to use you know, sculpturing gels, which a lot of people do for the baby boomer. You'll use a sculpturing white and a sculpturing pink. If you want to be able to apply baby boomer nails and not have to use sculpturing pink and whites, that's one way to do it.
Megan Osler asked, are both colors uncured?
No, I cured the orange. The copper dust has already been cured. So that's definitely a trick that some people do, is that they like, or a technique that they like to do the wet and wet. I don't like doing the wet and wet as much. I feel like I'm not as consistent with the wet and wet. Sometimes I will if I'm dealing with two solid colors to try to get a better blend, but I typically do a wet on dry.
Allie Smith asked, do you do your own nails?
Yes, and this time I messed around with them and they didn't turn out as good as I liked, but of course, except for at the retreat, my lovely friend Nadia did them, and that was fun. There's a little bit of Napa nails going on because I was tired. She has evidence of that somewhere. So this is my standard application for my 30-day manicure. I book an hour for this service. So right now I'm at the, how much time has it been? Probably 50-minute mark, 55 minutes if you're setting up everything. So I try to get everything done in an hour. So I try to work quickly with the art stuff, but still make it fabulous. Okay, next. So this is the second coat of brown. This is going to get us a much smoother coat. See how that coverage on the second coat is perfect. So that's what we're looking for. This bottle of Luxio I've had forever because I don't do a lot of browns, but in the fall this is a super popular color. But I think I've had it since this color launched, so I've probably had it for 3 or 4 years. It's a solvent-free gel. These Luxios, they don't have any solvents in them, which is what makes a gel polish smell like polish, is the solvents. That's also what makes the product age, what makes it get thick in the bottle. With Luxio, you don't have any of that. So when I do run out, or I'm running low and trying to dig to the bottom of the bottle, I'll just put it aside, grab a new one, and then after I've used the new one a few times, I'll literally flip over the old bottle on the new bottle and combine them so there's no waste. So again, I'm going to blend it up almost to here. I want to get a blend going so that the ombre has as much of a fade.
And
You see that?
asked, doing the boomers, would you do the white first?
Depends on what white I'm doing. So if I'm using a pearlescent white, I'll actually do the pink first. So we have one called Dreamy that is a white with a little bit of a pearlescent in it. And when I use that one's typically what I use for the baby boomers. I do the pink first and then the white. But if someone wants a super solid bright white, I would probably do, I don't do them a lot, so that's why I'm saying probably. I would probably do the pink after the white, just because the pink is a semi-sheer and I can pull it down over the top of it. Okay. Everyone say hi to my client. She's in her 70s and she's finally a model.
Exactly.
Brandy Cool says you're a rock star, Jess.
Oh, I love Brandy. I missed her at camp this year. You're not allowed to skip again. Just FYI.
It's never too late to be a model.
Tell her thank you.
She rocks some fun nail art. Some clients are so afraid to do nail art, and she'll do solid color sometimes, like she came in with today. But so, you know, she also said, do what you want. So I like this, and I think it's really perfect for November. You get a really, I touched that. You get a really pretty blend of fall colors with this, and since I'm obsessed with fall leaves, it kind of reminds me of fall leaves. So
Brandy said, I know, sorry.
mm-hmm.
And Anna Schmidt says, great hands.
See, my model. All right, so what I'm going to do now is I just want to add a little bit of gold. So we love some gold foil, and I just want to do it down the side. Sometimes I do foil on the whole nail, but we don't want to hide all of the ombre. So I'm literally just going to touch it down the sides just to kind of give a little bit of shine. And sometimes, there we go. It likes to stick, and sometimes it doesn't. Whether foil sticks really depends on how the color cures. If it's a color that cures really sticky, like all of our options are awesome to foil because they cure so sticky. Let's go ahead and give me that one. It's good.
Is it okay?
Yep. This only takes 30 seconds in the light, and that's on a minute timer currently. So it's really depends on how sticky or slimy the foil is. Or I'm sorry, not the foil, the color that you're applying the foil to. So sometimes I'll do a Luxio color and it's just not sticking as much as I want. Like if I'm doing electric and I want blue on blue and I really want to cover the nail with a lot of foil, I'll go ahead and get the glue out and stick some glue on there. But this is more of just a hint of gold that I'm going for. I don't want to cover the whole nail, so the amount that it's dropping is perfect. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my Luxio gloss. This is my favorite. I know a lot of people love Shine On. I still am a huge fan of gloss. I like the consistency a little bit better because I can really float it over the nail. I can lift up in the middle as I apply it, and it will give a little bit more shape to the nail, almost like an arch would, or if the application of my color was a little bit off. Or not my color, my hard gel, if I didn't get the shape that I wanted or whatnot. I can play with it a little bit more with this top coat. But she always sticks her pinky up, so I stick it in the light and freeze it after 2 because otherwise I get a bulb right at the thing. But I'm literally only gonna go for like 2 seconds and that's enough. So, just because her pinky always goes straight up. I've learned my lesson. I don't like to dig top gloss out of pinkies or cuticles or anything like that. So,
Sonia Berry just joined in.
I will do that. Any questions before we sign off? Thanks for joining us in this little fall fun look. What I am going to do at the end is just file around the edges, because I always file around the edges. There isn't a seal to be broken. The product sticks to itself perfectly fine. You don't have to worry about breaking any kind of seal. So I always file the edges, give it a nice finished look. And I will post a picture on my Instagram, so if you are not following me yet and you want to see a picture of these all done, which will look very similar to what they do now, follow me on Instagram. Love Nails, LUVNAILZ. Thanks all.